So here's a quick video just to review what we see right now as some areas that we're going to be tight and where we're going to be loose as a district on PLCs. Both this document and the document that you just probably previously viewed on the Principal PLC are both drafts, and we are really looking for your feedback on any suggested changes, additions, deletions, but we are wanting to clarify this for everyone so that we have a more consistent district approach. So, under the tight, you'll see things like the 4 questions. We are going to be tight on the fact that everybody has to be discussing the 4 questions of their PLCs. That's the easiest way and the non-rocket science way of seeing that the PLCs are focused on what they're supposed to be focused on. They should have some group norms, when they're going to meet, how often they're going to meet, how they're going to discuss topics. There should always be an agenda. It shouldn't be something where you go there and you're extemporaneously discussing what's going to be the 4 PLC questions. You should walk in with an idea of the action items that you want to hit that day. And all of these discussions about the 4 questions through your group norms with an agenda should lead to some specific action student plans. Or specific action plans for students. Teams should be using current informative data. In other words, seen in the negative, you shouldn't be walking in and seeing people making decisions about moving kids into a small group and it's November based on a test that they took back in September, be it MAP or otherwise. They should always be looking at current formative assessment, and wherever possible, it's a common assessment that they're using as a whole grade level, and they can discuss the results from a common knowledge base. Also, and this is something I know that we're all talking about in our SIP plans, and we're all just generally on the same page around, is that those standards and those test specs should be out and visibly being discussed, and there should be a clear alignment to the standards in each PLC conversation. And then finally, and I just referenced the improvement plans, the discussion should be aligned right back to the improvement plans. Now this should be a natural thing if you're meeting with your PLC team leaders and you're discussing, this is where we're at with the school improvement plan, we've moved so far with the strategy that we're implementing, and the next natural step is to do this in your PLC. And if you have that conversation with the principal to the team leaders, then they'll be able to be comfortable aligning the discussions that they're going to have in their PLCs right back to where you are in your improvement plan. Some things where we're going to be loose. How you select your PLC team leaders at this point, that is entirely up to you. Whether you're going to be meeting as a whole school in the library where your PLCs are all over the place, or whether you'd be having teams scheduling their PLCs at different times, that really depends on how you want to interact with them. You may want to be kind of moving all around in the media center, and that's easier, or you may be wanting to sit down with each PLC, in which case you might need them scheduled at different times. That's entirely up to you as the PLC leader for your building. And then planful ways to include special ed specialists and ELL and support staff. You want to include them, and how is really going to be context specific. So that's the beginnings of a tight and loose. I think, in terms of a document that will show you what you should be looking for when you walk into the room, we're trying to make it as I quickly said earlier, non-rocket science as possible. This should be something where we don't have to go through pages and pages of rubrics to identify whether a good PLC is happening. If they're focused on the 4 questions, if there's group norms, if there's an agenda, if they're documenting specific action plans, if they're using current data, if they're grounded in standards, and if their questions are aligned to the improvement plan, then you have a good PLC operating. So again, feedback welcome, and or desire for more specific direction welcome. Just let us know. This is our first run at this, and we hope it's helpful. Thanks.